our role as water department is to provide services in the rural areas. So we have one of the key things element that we do in terms of sustainability is to solarize our boreholes. That means we are using green energy, so that the water charges to the people becomes less. When you are using solar, it is cheaper than using KPLC. That can only be done in formal settlements like in urban areas. So that's one of the key things that we've tried to do as much as possible to solarize our boreholes. In fact, out of the 300 boreholes that we've done, I think 80-90% are all on solar, which is a great thing. In terms of collaboration, I think one of the key things, if you look at Impact 13, and I'm very proud, having been a water sector professional, if you look at Impact 13 from WASREP, Impact 12, Impact 11, and especially for this government, and I really want to applaud my boss, the Governor His Excellency Lee Kinyanjui, for providing leadership in the county in terms of non-interference on the water utilities. One of the key tenets when I came to be the CEC was to advise, and that's my role, to the boss, that let the utilities do their business, because that is how the setup is supposed to be. The guys running the utilities are professionals. Ours as a county, we are supposed to just support and provide enabling environment. So the governor has created a very conducive environment for the utilities to thrive. In fact, myself, I sit in the board of NAWASCO with my colleague in charge of finance, NAWASCO board. In Naivasha, we have my chief officer. I have two chief officers sitting in Naivasha, and the chief officer also from finance. Same thing with Nakuru Rural. We have two chief officers, so there is also a chief officer sitting in Nakuru Rural, and chief officer from finance. Basically, strategic water and finance, because if there is any financial support, we need the finance to be able to come on board, and that has given us a very, very what do you call it? Proper way of how we operate. We don't interfere with the operations of the utilities. That's been clear. In fact, even in the nominations and appointment of board of directors, they do as per the WASREP regulations. Advertise, go through vetting process. We don't. Our role after the results are out is to just appoint as per the rules of the game. And the company secretary will liaise with the county secretary and have the appointments done. So in terms of management and in terms of how we have worked with the utilities, I think Nakuru sets a very good example in how utilities should be able to operate. In fact, for myself, I have dual responsibility as CC in charge of water. One being, apart from sitting in the board, and within the board, by the way, you find that even governments, naturally, whoever sits in the board have what they call the veto power, but we don't want to do that within our setup, because the water sector is so fragile. So my role in the board is just to provide guidance, provide support as a county. And then the MDs, or the 3 MDs of the utilities, also are responsible to me in terms of quarterly reports, if they need any support, strategic partners, and all those other things. So that's the environment that we've created, and the MDs and their management teams, they run their business on their own. In fact, one of the key things you will notice is that maybe as you interview the MDs, we meet at the board meetings once in a quarter, once after every 3 months, personally, and all the board members. From our side, unless there is a weekly briefs from the utilities, it's between me, because I'm responsible for water provision. And that is a structure that we've set up in Nakuru. So in terms of governance, enabling environment, stable environment for the utilities to thrive, we provided for that as a county. And if you look on governance, and I'm proud, and I would mention this, that we've won, 3 years consecutive as Nakuru Apan, the top award in terms of governance, which means therefore then they do their own business on their own. They know how to operate. And that gives us a very good opportunity even to attract investments. We have several partners who are here, and the reason why we get so many partners is because the environment is conducive for them to be able to thrive. My role is to facilitate. If I go to my boss, he will just tell me, so do it. As in, it is the right thing to do in the water sector. The water sector, remember, not that water and sanitation services is a devolved function. And the county governments can create agents, right? That means we can, and that has been a discussion. Some counties have gone ahead and dismantled utilities or interfere with it because they have that mandate, because it's a function. But for us, we make sure that they are the vehicles. In fact, one of the good things that I find and I enjoy what I do is that when the utilities are stable, my water issues are sorted in the county. And that is why you will find from the water and sanitation perspective of our department, we work with the rural one because they have a huge coverage. I have told you Naivasha covers Naivasha sub-county. Nakuru Upper covers 2 sub-counties, Nakuru East and Nakuru West. We have 11 sub-counties. So the 8 sub-counties are supposed to be run by Nakuru Rural with our support as a ministry.